that there is other life here, and it's in the ocean. And a number of the people in my film go on the record about the UAP activity in our oceans. Even, from senior members of Congress to intelligence officials, they talk about technology that's not from here, that's otherworldly, that has been seen coming in out of the ocean and into the ocean. And then in conversations I've had outside of the film, people have told me about activity that's been tracked by our submarines that's just absolutely bonkers, like massive crafts moving at crazy speeds under the water, going past our submarines. So there's a real situation.
Yeah, if you were an alien and you wanted to hide here on the Earth itself,
you do it in our ocean, yeah.
You do it because the ocean is very unexplored.
It's in my film, Admiral Tim Gallaudet says that we have studied the surface of the moon in more detail than we have the bottoms of our oceans. And our oceans are like 75% of our planet is ocean, right?
Well, that's if you believe we went to the moon.
Yeah. Okay. But I really do think that going back to the power of movies, I wouldn't have made this movie or been interested in this topic had I not, watched Close Encounters countless times and had my curiosity piqued. And I think that, my hope is there's people out there who start looking into this topic because they watch this documentary or because they watch Steven's movie in June, and they start thinking about it differently, taking it seriously.
So let's go through the movies and what they depicted and see if that's how it's really going to happen. Close Encounters, we want to communicate with the aliens, and we do it through, as I recall, a synthesizer. He's playing this tune, and then they play the tune back.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, yeah.
So maybe it's that. Then there was a movie called Arrival.
Yeah, it's a great movie too.
That is a great movie?
Yeah, I think it's
great. I don't remember loving that one either.
That's really good. Yeah.
I feel like
you got to do a binge.
I feel like your interest in this topic.
You got to do a new binge.
See, I'm just looking as
now that you've watched this doc, you got to do a binge. Yeah.
Okay, but in that one, I remember there was just a lot of the aliens writing in this big curlicue language on a screen, and it was like, it didn't look like anything we've ever seen, but it was some sort of writing.
Some sort of contact event, some sort of communication, yeah.
So how do you think it'll happen? How will we? I mean, shouldn't they know with all their advanced knowledge? Can't they just have a English to alien thing in their phone?
Some of the people in my film talk about how there have been contact events. Some of the intelligence officials in my film talk about learning of an event that happened where a UAP landed on a military base and non-human beings interacted with CIA and Air Force officials.
When you say interacted, you mean dating? No, but what do you mean by interacting? You meant they said they
interacted, they communicated somehow. That's what
well, what's the somehow?
The intelligence officials
they must if they're testifying about this. What's the somehow?
That was all it was said. And the intelligence official in the film talks about a conversation he had with President Bush I, Sr., about this. And it's a fascinating part of the film. Halleman Air Force Base is the name.
I loved it that Bush II, his comment was, "I ain't telling."
Yeah, that's one of the.
That says a lot.
That was one of the.
I ain't telling.
But that was one of the coolest.
But Texas, if they try to mess with Texas, we're the point of the spear.
What he talks about in that section of the film, I think is fascinating. A bunch of the people I interviewed revealed that during Bush II's administration, shortly after 9/11, he was contemplating going public with the base facts that he had learned, that we're not alone in the universe.
Is that right?
And they held a multi-day, I think it was 2 or 3 day think tank where they invited a couple dozen people to come and evaluate what the pros and cons would be. And they basically they were tasked with debating and then applying a number to the impact. So on a scale of 1 to 10, like 10 being a bad impact, too much impact, 1 being minimal impact, to every like vertical of society, like religion, the economy, all these different areas they came up with. And a number of the people that were part of this think tank, they went into it excited about it and hopeful that it would bring about disclosure. And then they all came out on the other side deciding it would be a bad idea, that the time wasn't right for it. This was like right after 9/11. One of the people in that think tank is in my film.
That would
Dr.
be
Hal Puthoff is the senior scientist for my film. He's worked on a lot of classified UAP programs.
Well, that wasn't Bush 1.
No, it was 2. That was
Bush 2. Okay,
two.
right.
Yeah. One was the one who talked about the Hal landing.
So this think tank was when Bush 2 was...
Yeah, and then they decided not to do it and not to go public with it.
Well, that was prudent, to use the father's term. I mean, not after 9/11. You know, like, let's deal with the jihadists before we deal with the aliens.
Yeah. It's also come out recently that Cheney was very involved in covering this up. No longer around, obviously.
What are you saying? Something nefarious that the aliens killed him because he knew too much?
No, I'm saying maybe it'll lead to change that he's no longer around.
I don't think it was them. He had a heart that plugged into the wall. Okay, this guy was not well when he died. But
no, I didn't mean like that. I mean he was involved in the decision to not have it go public.
My guess is he would have had Halliburton digging on the planet X-ray before they ever signed a deal, but not to speak ill of the dead. But so,
what do you think will happen now? You've seen this documentary. You see how the truth is starting to come out. What do you think will happen?
Well, again, I think the Spielberg movie is. I mean, it's Steven Spielberg. I think this will be sort of the ultimate moment in his amazing career. Because, as we were starting to say, movies do move people. People are a mass. They are the masses. They're called the masses for a reason. They're not called the bunch of intellectuals. They're the masses. I love them. I'm not putting them down, but I'm just saying masses need to be moved by mass entertainment.
Totally.
And that has, Hollywood, which I criticize a lot, and they deserve it a lot, but Hollywood, show business in general, is responsible for societal change probably more than any other part of society. I'm talking about...
Couldn't agree with you more.
And
he's the greatest filmmaker of all time.
He is, absolutely. I always say about him, he's known as the greatest filmmaker, and he's still underrated. But like if you go back to Gentleman's Agreement in 1947, which is about anti-Semitism, which is back in style, but back then they were against it, and they made movies like that. Racial issues, guess who's coming to dinner in 1967? Gay issues, AIDS, disabilities, nuclear energy, China syndrome. I mean, when Hollywood addresses an issue, it does change minds, and it's mostly been for the better. It's mostly been, liberal people saying, you know what, let's move up on this. Now, we entered a woke era where I think we went a few subway stops past where we should have gotten off on some things. But basically, Hollywood has been a force for good in opening people's eyes to a lot of social issues that they need to have their eyes open to. And now, I think it's, if we can step up and do our part, it will be this issue. It will be technology, which really is the social issue of the day.